Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV, and I'm here at the Fed Talks 2015 conference, and I'm talking with David Bennett, the Director of DIS's Implementation and Sustainment Office. David, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So, DIS has had a new focus with its goals over the past year. How has that progressed in your eyes?
So I wouldn't say we've got a new focus on goals. The goals that we've had, we're basically
a renewed focus.
Yeah, we've had a lot of focus on where we want to go from an agency long term.
Okay.
And so the activity but now we're talking about how do we go about it from a transformational perspective of we got to get it out there faster, we've got to be cheaper as we deliver it, and make certain that that capability is sustainable over time in a way that meets whatever the budgetary situation is, as well as the warfighter environment changing.
So with the budget stuff, you have the challenge of standing up the JIE, delivering enterprise services and C4 ISR data at the speed that users need it, and you're doing this all under tremendous budget constraints. Right. So where do you target your focus when you're dealing with all of that?
So one of the areas from an agency perspective, we've really been focused is trying to optimize at the enterprise level.
Okay.
From our perspective, the more we can bring the department to the enterprise level, that's where we really get our economies of scale, and we're able to provide the level of capability that the warfighters are needing in a way that makes sense. As we move further away from the enterprise and we start focusing in on niche solutions that are at the organizational level, if you will, that's where the price of delivering the solution goes up. The price of figuring out how to provide that capability goes up. Now, certainly you can provide a more tailored solution at the smaller level, but we're not really in this to be sort of a niche market provider.
Right.
We're really, our mission and focus is really how do we support the enterprise at large and do that in a fast, effective, and inexpensive manner, if you will.
So you were talking also about doing things faster. DISA has approved over 20 new cloud service providers for the DoD to work with. In your eyes, how has that accelerated your abilities to deliver whatever the warfighter needs?
So right now, as we speak, I don't think it has accelerated anything yet.
Okay, interesting.
And the reason I say that is because the application owners are still trying to figure out what it means to move to a cloud environment. The reality is application owners today are used to having their capability in a well-understood environment that in most cases have been in place for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
Okay.
So they built it up over time. Moving to a cloud really requires that application owner to understand their application and basically extract it from a known environment and move it into an area that they've not dealt with before. And technically you can do that, assuming your application is designed for a cloud environment. But it also brings with it the discovery learning of what about back-end services? If I'm sitting in a location I've been in for 10 or 15 years, I've built up that infrastructure over time, identity, security, what we call CNDSP, network defense posture, all of those things have grown up over time within that environment. When you move to the commercial cloud, now all of a sudden you're having to figure out how do you do that yourself?
Right.
Because the cloud is basically an infrastructure as a service solution.
Right.
So the commercial provider is expecting you to come in with everything you need to stand it up, operate it, and run it, and they just provide you the infrastructure. And so that puts the onus onto the application owner to figure out all of those nuts and bolts that have to come with the application. And so it's that discovery learning that is in process right now of figuring out what's got to move to be effective and to be useful in the cloud space. I think once, as a department, they sort of break the mold on that and they understand and it becomes more well-defined and understood, I think that's sort of that inflection point where you'll see the speed go up significantly in terms of being able to leverage the commercial solutions and move capabilities into the space.
Okay.
But right now, I think folks are trying to get a better sense of what does it mean to be in the cloud, and what's that impact, and then what do you need to understand, what's it going to provide versus what do I have to provide.
So changing focus, you've said before that you want to have cybersecurity at the speed of electrons.
Right.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Yeah, we've got too many people in the loop. You know, most everything, IT and cyber happens at the speed of electrons. It was not designed to have a man in the loop that's basically making decisions about some activity occurs. Now I need to put a human in the middle to try and decipher what does it mean. Humans can never keep up with the machines in terms of what's going on. So we've got to really be able to have the infrastructure, whether that is the computing environment or the analytics and the big data platforms, have the ability to be able to see something as it happens, understand it's an anomaly, and then be able to, leveraging rules that are already predefined, make decisions and then take actions on the platform relative to what it saw and understood. That's got to happen at the speed of electrons. As soon as you put a man in the middle, anywhere along that path, you've now slowed, you know, the whole progress and the process down to a snail's pace, because you just can't keep up. And so you end up having to go through voluminous data that will take you days, weeks, months.
And you're never going to get on top of it.
And you'll never get on top because it's continuously going on. And so you have to have an environment that is keeping up and being able to detect and react in relative speed to the time frame in which it occurs. Because if it takes me weeks or days or weeks to react, I'm just days or weeks late to the fight because the fight's already occurred. And I'm just doing discovery learning of what happened way back when.
Right.
And now I'm just doing cleanup. I'm not doing any prevention. And we've got to get to that prevention mode and not just, you know, recovery.
So finally, what else do you see coming down the path for DISA in 2016? What are your 2 or 3 top priorities that you see in the next year?
So we're continuing with the organizational change, if you will, that we started back in January. We're still refining and working through some of the process changes and tweaking the organization on the margins as we get more comfortable with it so that we can deliver capability faster and cheaper. So we'll continue to do that. We're continuing to refine the classified cell phones and how we leverage that capability at the secret level and higher as we move forward. And so we're also looking at to what degree can we leverage the cloud as part of our solution set. How can we work with industry to move into the cloud space? And then as we go forward, how can we optimize the computing infrastructure that we provide to DoD to make it more flexible, sustainable, and adaptable to what the end users are wanting, and do that in a way that drives the price down so that from their perspective, the cost they're having to pay to receive the computing infrastructure and solutions is competitive with what they're leveraging today in their own spaces.
Interesting. Well, I'm eager to see how that progresses. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
For all of our videos, you can check out our YouTube channel, and for more information, you can check out fedscoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.